All right, what's up, everybody? Part 2 of the Hollywood Hitters UFC 249 preview prediction picks. This was going to be a solely prop bet focused podcast, but as I was finishing it up, I realized that Jacare Souza tested positive for the COVID-19, as well as two of his cornermen. Dana, UFC have already released a statement saying that the event is going to go on, as well as the one next Wednesday, next Saturday. I'm kind of freaking the fuck out, though. I have a good indication. I feel like it's going to go through, but we've never dealt with anything like this before, and just praying that no one else tests positive. We saw that the 23 other fighters in the card tested negative officially, but I saw a video where Jacare was talking to Werdum. Granted, he had gloves, a face mask on, but he also was in that face-off bump fist with Dana. So just, praying that everything's on point, ready for tomorrow. I've maybe never been this excited for a card before since, we've gone about 2.5 months without any action. But yeah, right now we're looking like things are going to be all right. I hope, Jacare and his cornermen heal up or whatever, get rid of the fucking corona. I'm not a, virologist by any means, so I'm not going to pretend I am. Let's get into some prop bets. If you listen to my first part of this podcast, you'll hear that I was pretty dog heavy. I had not made any bets at the time of the first recording, so I've gotten a little bit concerned with some of those points that I made. A little bit embarrassed. I'm not too confident in a lot of these. If anything, the most confident dog I'm going to be betting on is Dominic Cruz, but I'm also a little bit biased in that. You're taking an inherent risk, like I mentioned previously when betting on him. Long layoff. However, I think people are forgetting Cejudo clearly got kind of fattened up when his post-surgery little Brazil trip, found himself a girlfriend, kind of living the good life, and then he did the before and after pick, and of course now he's jacked and got that crazy look in his eye and all that. But I still think that Dom is a good bet. I wish I could get plus 200. It's plus 185 now on 5 times. I'm going to wait and try and get a better number, but I don't think I will, so I'll be taking that at some point. I also, even though Dominic is not known as a finisher, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit Dominic inside the distance, which is like plus 925, and Dominic by sub, I think, is like plus 1,400 or something. In terms of the main event, I don't feel too. I'm sticking with Tony. I'm gonna have money on Tony. I'm gonna have him wrapping up some parlays, hopefully. However, the line right now is just garbage, minus 210. The value's on Gagey at that number. If you bet Tony inside the distance, I know it's like minus 120, which is not that good either because you're gonna want to have the option of it going to decision if you're betting heavily on him. So if anything, I would do Tony TKO sprinkle, but primarily Tony by submission because I think that's the best plan of attack for him to deal with Gagey. The only thing that worries me is that potentially there'll be a doctor stoppage or Gagey's corner will throw in the towel, sorry. And that would be graded as a KO, so obviously the sub prop would not cash. I'm kind of interested in a Ferguson in round 4, Ferguson in round 5 bet, which is plus 900 and plus 1,000. I think if he's going to win the fight, it's going to be in those later rounds. If he does get a finish, which he probably should. I mean, Gagey's never gone 5 rounds. The closest he's gone is, I believe, with Poirier. Went to the 4th, and he was TKO'd in that fight. Going down the list, Jairzinho, Francis. I'm leaning heavily Francis the more this week has gone on. Obviously, anything could happen. It's heavyweight, but I think if Francis is smart, he's going to utilize a little bit of grappling, a little bit of wrestling, not just make it a kickboxing match because that is Jairzinho's wheelhouse. He's had 50 to 70 pro kickboxing fights. I think a sneaky prop is Ngannou by sub. However, I'm pretty sure that's around like plus 600 now, which feels kind of low. Plus 590. He has had a submission victory before, but much earlier in his UFC career. I still think, that's a better number. I don't think there's any value in laying Ngannou by TKO minus 150. Although, earlier in the week, I wish I took, I know the number was like minus 115. So, yeah, I'm going to be going with, so far I'm going to have Dominic Cruz, a little sprinkle on Dominic in the distance, Dominic by sub. I'm going to have Ferguson by submission, Ferguson rounds 4 and 5. I'm going to sprinkle Ngannou by submission. I'll probably have him in the distance in some prop parlays, which I'll get further into as I get further down the card. Yeah, I think Ngannou is a good parlay piece. Anything can happen, obviously, but he looks in incredible shape. Seems like this is his fight to lose. So, yeah, going down, Stevens, Kattar. I don't know what the fuck happened with Jeremy Stevens. He missed weight by 5 pounds today. I don't know if this is him in desperation mode, coming off 3 losses, saying I need some sort of competitive advantage. I don't see why he would do that because he gave up 30% of his purse to Kattar. So, UFC fighters are definitely not the highest paid athletes, so I don't think he'd be willing to give up that amount of money even for a small advantage. But it doesn't make any sense that he wouldn't be able to make weight when he's known about this fight for how many months, and it even been previously scheduled and canceled. So that's kind of concerning. The more I look at this fight, the more I just kind of don't want anything to do with it. I just kind of want to, I've seen people having Kattar as parlay pieces. I'd be pretty worried, honestly. I'd rather have Ngannou or Werdum or Spann, as I'll get into. But if anything, this is just going to be a pass for me, and I'm going to, enjoy the fight. I like both of those guys. I'll be, I kind of want Stevens to get a win just because towards the end of his career, he needs it more. But, Kattar's serious. I don't really want to see him get knocked out stiff either, so just hope it's a good fight. Going on further main card, De Castro. Hardy, this is another one where I was, kind of singing the praises of De Castro earlier in the week, and the more I looked into it, I thought, man, if Greg, comes in with a game plan of trying to outpoint, which he's shown that he's made that adjustment, he's not really relying on one-punch knockouts, as you've seen in his last few fights, which has been a little frustrating then, but, if you don't go into it with that expectation of betting Hardy by knockout, should be a good bet. I think he can win by decision. I think that's very likely. I think if he should try and tire out De Castro, use that athletic advantage, get him up against the cage, or as I said, stay at range and outpoint him. But yeah, if anything, I would have Hardy, maybe in a parlay, but I don't feel too good about this fight. Going on that's obviously the first fight of the main card. Headliner, the prelims, which are now one fight shorter. Cerrone Pettis. This is another one where it's tough for me. I think Cowboy's a good bet at plus money, but I think it's probably the riskiest bet of the night. Betting on a guy who's had 3 TKO losses in a row, and is really at a decisive, emotional point in his career, and I'm be rooting for him. But I can definitely see the argument for people that would want to jump on Pettis by KO. That line's not too good, though. I think right now it's Pettis by KO plus 200. That's not bad, actually. Inside the distance is plus 170, but there's no way Pettis is getting a sub. I'll probably have Cowboy. Man, I still don't know what I'm going to do with this one, but I'll probably I'm definitely going to put a little bit on Pettis by KO, just to dry my tears with some dollar bills if Cowboy does get finished. But depending on how the line moves, I might have if Cowboy gets up to plus 130 on the money line, I may have to take a little swing at that, honestly. But yeah, Pettis by KO is probably the prop with this fight that you can make the best argument for. I think that the longer the fight goes, the more Cerrone probably has an advantage. I think he probably has a little bit better cardio, a little bit, obviously, like I said, more heart than Pettis. But, I don't really see him. Yeah, he may get the sub, but, plus 500 is not that good. If anything, I would stick with money line. going. Oh, let me go back one. The one interesting bet I thought that DeCastro Hardy might have, if you just want to, sprinkle just in a kind of a high number. I thought DeCastro by decision might be a sneaky play. It's a plus 700 now. When I looked earlier in the week, it was plus 850, which was a lot more attractive. Same thing with Rosenstruck. If you want to just get cute with it, go Rosenstruck by decision. You're gonna get a big return. That is, oh wow, Rosenstruck by 3 round is only plus 475. So that's definitely taken some money in the last few days. I was going back to the Jacare situation. I was freaking out a little bit, but it seems things have calmed down a little bit. We're just getting a comment from Uriah Hall saying, "Brother, I know it sucks. I'm sorry you have to go through this. I'm beyond devastated for the missed opportunity. I wish you nothing but recovery for you and your family." Classy guy. Hopefully Uriah can get a fight. I mean, tomorrow's a little too last minute, but maybe Wednesday card, next Saturday card. I just saw a tweet, someone saying that they're lying about the Jacare situation on SportsCenter, which is interesting because, yeah, they are saying that he was quarantined and never came into contact with anyone, but we've seen videos of Jacare and Werdum. We've seen, obviously, him at the weigh-in today. I don't even give a shit. I just want it to happen at this point. Yeah, guys, up next, we got one of those fights where I was kind of talking up how the dog might be live, how the line may be a little off, but the more I've looked into it, the more I feel like the favorite will probably roll. I really like Oleinik. I think he's got good ground game. He doesn't have the ground game of Werdum. He's all right on the feet. He throws these big, kind of unorthodox, weirdly timed, messy looking, but sometimes effective hooks. Although the only guy he's knocked out is Jared Rolschalt, who's pretty shitty, honestly. He's fighting in PFL now. The only bet I'd consider with this is either parlaying fight won't go the distance, which is minus 285, or Werdum inside. That's a bet I'd consider straighting, although the minus 155 for Werdum inside is not too attractive because you could have gotten minus 130 a few days ago. It's one of the things with prop bets is that, part of the game is you got to get in there early. You got to know what you want to hit, and you got to get down as much as you can, which is usually not too much because there's low limits for props. That's one of the points that, big money line bettors often make when they are detracting from the strategy of prop betting. So yeah, if anything, I'd parlay that this fight won't go the distance, minus 285, or maybe parlay Werdum inside the distance with Francis in the distance or Spann in the distance, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Oh yeah, here's another one, Watterson Esparza. I've seen, opinions on both sides for this, but at the end of the day, it's a women's fight. It's going to be close. I like both of these chicks. I think I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. I think a sneaky prop, though, might be Watterson by sub. She's got some pretty good judo throws. That's plus 875, which is pretty high. Really hard to see a finish happening in this fight, though. Esparza is closer to minus 150 now. Probably just going to be a pass for me, honestly. But yeah, Karate Hottie. Wouldn't mind seeing her win. I like her. She's very nice. So yeah, no longer have Hall. Jacare, obviously, really sucks. Next up, though, we got Luque Price. It's another one I was very excited for, still am, but I'm starting to lean towards the favorite now that we're one day away from fights. However, these lines aren't too good in terms of props. If you want Luque inside the distance, it's minus 140. Wouldn't take that. However, Luque by KO is plus 170, I think. No, plus 145. That'd probably be where I'd go if I were to bet a prop on this. Also, maybe you want to parlay Luque inside the distance with, like I said, Ngannou, Werdum, Spann. Those are probably my 4 most confident in the distance picks. Fight doesn't go the distance for this is minus 400, so not a lot of value there, but I guess you could parlay it. Although that seems like a sweat I really wouldn't want to have. If anything, I would just stick with a Luque finish. Maybe sprinkle Price by KO just because, like I said, Luque's been taking a lot of damage. Price seems to pull one, insane finish out of his ass. most of his fights. Hope he wins, but probably going to have a good amount of money down on Luque in parlays, Luque in the distance, Luque by KO probably will be a straight bet for me. But yeah, really excited for that fight. Next up, Rosa Mitchell. This line's fluctuated a little bit. I think, let me look up right now, but I think that Bryce Mitchell's up to minus 170 on 5 dimes. I'm going to go on best fight odds to see in general. No, minus 165, Rosa plus 155. I think, I kind of like where that's at right now. Honestly, the prop that I like for this fight would be Rosa by submission, because I think that is where you'll find the most value. That number right now is at, one moment, Rosa by submission, plus 730. Really like that. I'm actually going to put some money down on that right now. I think that if it doesn't go the distance, I don't see Bryce getting a submission. I know everyone is going oh my God, he got a fucking twister. Yeah, we get it. Okay, he was fighting Matt Sales, a fucking no name. I've heard some arguments for Mitchell. I understand, why people might want to favor him here. I really like the guy. He's really exciting. Would like to see him around the UFC in the future. But for me, this fight's going to be the only thing I'd consider is a Rosa Sub. I don't really think I'm going to have much money on this at all. But yeah, I'm going to go Rosa Sub here, plus 730. So yeah, you put down $10 on that. You're going to get $73 in return. I'll probably put down about 15 or 20, just so I can hit that nice triple-digit number. But yeah, we're talking about small amounts of money right now. Going on, so on and so forth. Scrolling on the iPad. I guess, yeah, Alvey Spann. Wow, I kind of flew through this. But yeah, this is keep saying it, but yeah, Sam Alvey really, I would be shocked if he won this fight. I think the only way he would is by like a fluke KO. Don't see it happening. It'd be interesting to see if Spann is at all affected though by his Fortis teammate Uriah Hall, having his fight canceled. Can't really look too much into that. We're only, less than 24 hours out. I think Spann is a good bet in the distance, but you're going to have to lay a little juice on that. It's, minus 125. That's pretty good. Kind of like that a little bit more than Werdum inside, although I think Alvey is a little more durable than Oleinik is, although hard to compare those two matchups. But that seems pretty reasonable to me. I don't... it's tempting to sprinkle Spann Sub, Spann KO, but, the fact that he can mix it up makes me hesitant to pull a trigger on one of those. I'd rather, the value is on Sub at plus 305. Maybe sprinkle that a little bit. I'm definitely going to be having Spann inside the distance in some parlays, possibly a straight bet, but not too crazy about it on a straight bet. I'll parlay that for sure, though. And then won't go the distance on that fight is minus 225. I think that's a pretty interesting line. Not too much value, though. The fights that I think are more likely to not go the distance would be Ferguson Gagey, Luque Price, probably Ngannou Rosenstruck. Yeah, probably wouldn't get too involved at minus 225. But yeah, Spann is the pick here, so let's just run through these real quick. We're going to start off at the top of the card. Tony Ferguson, obviously the pick. The prop would be Tony by sub or Tony round 4 and 5. Money line for Tony right now, minus 210. I hate that line. I really wish I got... I don't know if I wish I got money down, because I was hesitant even at minus 170 to take the money line, but I'm going with Tony. The over-under on that is actually kind of interesting. The over 2.5 is plus 145. I'd lean over rather than under. I think the only way it goes under 2 rounds is if Gagey knocks him out early, which would really suck, honestly. It'd be kind of disappointing, even though I really like Gagey and I wouldn't mind seeing him win. I don't want to see Tony go out like that, end his crazy winning streak like that. Okay, so next co-main event, obviously Dominic Cruz. I'm getting down on Dominic money line. I'd be surprised to see a finish here. I think people are a little bit overrating Cejudo's ability to finish. because I don't think Dom Cruz is, Dom Cruz has got better cardio than Marlon Moraes. That's for damn sure. Yeah, Cruz money line, sprinkle Cruz sub, and inside just for shits. Maybe parlay Cejudo to kind of mitigate some of that risk. But in one of those kind of degen, 5 to 7 leg parlays. I don't know if you saw the matchup. Sorry, the face-off today between Cruz and Cejudo. And this is what I knew going into it, but a lot of people didn't. Cruz is, looks like the much bigger guy. As he made the point, he is the true 135er. Henry's got a good frame, but looked a little bit like a flyweight when he was looking up at old Dom Cruz in the eyes. Next fight, Jairzinho Ngannou. Like I said, Ngannou inside is the play. Sprinkle Ngannou sub. Parlay. I'm gonna go parlay Ngannou inside, Werdum inside, Spann inside. Maybe do a does not go the distance parlay, although those can be kind of sweats and a half if you're imagine watching Derek Lewis Ngannou and you have fight doesn't go the distance at like minus 400 to close out a parlay and you have to see that go down. That would kind of suck, but worth a shot. Stevens Cater, like I said, pass. If anything, I'd sprinkle Stevens KO. I'm interested to see how this I don't know if you want to call it a non-weight cut. I don't know if he had a bad weight cut and couldn't cut the extra pounds, or if he just didn't try in the first place because he wanted to Ray Borg it, give himself a little competitive advantage. I don't know. You can't take too much out of it, so that's a pass. DeCastro Hardy, probably going to have Hardy money line parlayed, maybe sprinkle DeCastro by knockout. I'm not too confident on this fight, though. I do. The pick is Hardy, though. I do think he'll win. I do think he'll probably win by decision. I'd be interested to see how those leg kicks affect Greg, but I don't know. I don't really see Greg finishing DeCastro and vice versa. And if it goes to the decision, Greg has a big advantage. He's just, longer, a little more technical. I think he can get off more output, try and control in the clinch, try and, impose his all-pro physique on DeCastro, who's got the PE teacher physique, like I said. Next fight, Cerrone Pettis. Cerrone is now at plus 130. They really want me to take a shot. I almost want to, kind of... Cerrone especially is one of these guys where if you can, it's better to wait as long as you can and analyze his body language, analyze the way he's looking, because you can really read a lot from it. I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but that's how I felt going into the Conor fight, and that was probably the biggest bet I ever made was on Conor first round and Conor by KO. Obviously, those all hit. I will probably bet Cerrone on the money line for about maybe a half or 3/4 unit, and then put a little bit on Pettis KO because I think that is his best path to victory. Sorry. Going down quickly, Werdum in the distance. I'm going to be parlaying that with Ngannou and Spann in the distance. Damn, Ngannou inside the distance is now minus 170. So it's going to be 170 parlayed with minus 155 for Werdum. And then Spann, like I said, minus 125. Keep scrolling down too far. Spann distance, minus 125. Parlay. Let's see what $10 gets us. Wow. That actually plays... Okay. Yeah, I'm fucking hitting that for sure. So even though these lines are a little bit juiced, my prop parlay, I'm going to give you guys Ngannou in the distance. Ngannou in the distance, sorry. Minus 170. Werdum in the distance, minus 155. Spann in the distance, minus 125. That is going to be plus 370 parlay. So $10 gets you 37. 100 gets you 370. I think that's pretty solid. I'm definitely going to be locking that in right now. Moving on. Like I said, Werdum in the distance. It's probably going to happen. If you do have a parlay with... If you do that parlay, I mentioned the Ngannou Spann Werdum in the distance parlay. This is one of the ones, though, that I sprinkle a little bit of shekels on Oleinik in the distance in case he gets that fluke finish. Esparza Watterson, it's a pass. Karate Hottie, though, I'll probably be rooting for her. Luque Price, I'm gonna straight bet Luque by KO. I'm going to parlay Luque in the distance, and I'm gonna sprinkle Price by KO, which is if I had to, if I was a fan, I didn't have any money, I'd be rooting for Price. But I think Luque is probably gonna get the job done here. I think it's a little too much to ask for Price to rematch a guy who's already schooled him and finished him. Where Price has gotten a little bit better, but he's not evolved really as a fighter. Mitchell Rosa, as I said, I like Rosa Sub plus 730. It's a great price. Going to be sprinkling that. I think it's a competitive fight. I think if someone gets a finish, it'll be Rosa. I think he has better BJJ. People are kind of discounting that because, oh my God, the hillbilly guy did a twister. Oh, that's never happened. No, I can't hate. I like Bryce Mitchell. Get him the camo shorts. Alvey Spann, like I said, in the distance parlay, plus 370. Ngannou in the distance. Werdum in the distance. Spann in the distance. If I were to bet another fucking prop, on this fight, it'd be Spann by sub, just because it's a little bit of value, plus 300. Spann by KO, tempting, but plus 185 ain't shit. If you're going to straight bet, Spann in the distance, minus 125 is a pretty good price, considering his money line is like minus 420, 430 right now. I know he's the heaviest favorite on the card. I think that number is assuming a little bit too much of Alvey's toughness. I think it's one thing to be, a tough veteran. It's another thing to be where he's at right now, which go on and just look at the guy. Tell me Spann is not going to fucking win that fight. Wrapping things up, we're going to go this time from bottom to top. Official plays, like I've said 5 fucking times. In the distance parlay, Ryan Spann in the distance, Francis Ngannou in the distance, Fabricio Werdum in the distance. That's going to be plus 370. Let's cash. Hell yeah. Next fight, Charles Rosa. Now the money line's plus 150. That's a little tempting. However, only official play, Rosa by sub, plus 730. Take it to the fucking bank. Next up, Nico Price, Vicente Luque. We're going to go Luque by KO, even though it pains me to say it. I think Price is going to put himself in a tough spot and get caught. However, definitely got to sprinkle Price KO just for the idea, if you know what I'm saying. Because if it was ever going to happen to Luque, probably be this fight, even though he is the better fighter. Going forward, Esparza Watterson, we don't care. We like them both. Good luck. We don't care. Werdum Oleinik, like I said, in the distance parlay. Also, maybe do a little bit of Werdum sub plus 570. That number seems a little high. I get Oleinik's ground game is good, but he is not from Brazil. Next up, Anthony Pettis, Showtime. Not so much Showtime anymore, but we'll see. He's fighting Cerrone. He's got mush for brains. He's got the CTE. We love the guy. Can he show up? I think Moneyline's a pretty good play. I'm kind of convincing myself out of doing it. However, Pettis by KO will be the prop bet pick. I will sprinkle that a little bit to make myself less sad if that happens. Next up, Hardy de Castro. Pass, Stro. However, would have Hardy in a parlay. Don't have one yet. Cater Stevens. Same. Pass. If I'd sprinkle a fucking prop, it'd be Cater KO. Next up, Ngannou. You know what the fuck we're doing. In the distance parlay. Line him up, set him up, knock him down, cash that fucking hitter. Okay? Hollywood fucking hitters, dude. Next up. Just kidding. Go back to the Ngannou fight. Ngannou sub. Number's not so good. However, it's happened before. If he's smart, that's what the fuck he gonna do. Plus 600. We're gonna sprinkle it. Next up, Henry Cejudo. We don't hate him. We don't really like him. Dominic Cruz, we love him. We're going to be hitting that money line. We're going to hope it goes to plus 200. Probably going to stay about 185. I'll take that. Sprinkle, Cruz in the distance, plus 925. Cruz by sub, plus 1,400. We love it. We're cashing. We're making money. We're not getting the COVID-19. Main event, Tony, the fucking boogeyman, El Cucuy Ferguson. We love the guy. We love Gagey. We saw he's got a dog. He puts the dog on his back. He walks around with the dog. He's a good guy. However, someone's got to win. That guy is going to be Tony Ferguson, okay? He's going to get a submission. That's the prop bet. The round prop bet, round 4 and 5, if it gets there, I don't see Gaethje getting out of it. No way this goes to decision. Yes, Gaethje could knock him out early. However, probably not going to happen. Tony Ferguson, best plan of attack. Use those fucking jitsu skills. Use that fucking 10th planet, triple hunker black belt. We're going to get the fucking sub. We're going to cash. We're going to cash our fucking Trump checks and our fucking prop checks. And you're going to like and subscribe and listen to this fucking podcast. Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson. I can understand if you take a prop, Gaethje, round 1, round 2. Yeah, if he KOs him, it's going to be early. However, my money's on El Cucuy, the boogeyman, Ferguson. Minus 210, I hate that line. Sub plus 300 something, I love that line. Granted, could be a TKO, could be doctor stoppage, could be corner. That's why I like rounds 4 and 5, plus 900, plus 1,000. Tony Ferguson to get the finish in the championship rounds. We're going to fucking see it happen, okay? Okay, if you like round props, you like over-unders, over 2.5, plus 145, that's a little bit of value. I'm not going to bet that shit. We're going to enjoy this card. Jacare, get the fucking cure. You're going to be fine. Uriah will get him another opponent. We're going to fucking have these fights happen tomorrow. I don't give a shit what Luke Thomas says. I don't give a fuck what any pasty, fat, fucking sunlightless, running out of things to say, but you know what I'm talking about. Fuck those journalists. Fuck all the haters. Enjoy tomorrow, guys. We deserve it. We got a bunch of bangers. Those are the picks. I'll put them in the description. Sorry this is coming out a little late. Had the COVID emergency pod prepcast, propcast, COVID cast. Can't wait for tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific time, or whatever the fuck, 1 in the morning if you're in Europe or one of those countries. Stay COVID-free. We hope Jacare gets better. We hope his family gets better. We hope no one else gets the COVID. We hope this event goes off without a hitch. We hope all the negative blogging bitches have nothing to write about and pat themselves on their fat little butts about. So let's get it, guys. I'm excited. Let's make some fucking money. Let's cash some hitters. Let's have some Hollywood hitting, some Hollywood hitters. Thank you for listening. If you've actually gotten to this point in the podcast, I seriously appreciate it. You can like, you can sub, you can comment, you can share it. It's all appreciated. I know a bunch of people are starting podcasts now that everyone's unemployed, and we got UFC, hopefully 3 times a week for eternity. But I'm not a fucking black belt, but I can make you some money. All right, I can turn those Trump bucks into Trump millions. All right, so hit that fucking sub and fucking cash it.